Hello everyone, my name is Daniel and I am the head developer of our action-adventure RPG project called Windshire, and today we are finally getting to our very first devlog. Back in November of 2018, I decided to upload a poll in which I was asking my friends which type of genre of game I should make. I kind of just got off a development cycle. It was about 4 days of a game called Sumo Tumo. It was an introductory project for me to learn networking and Unet, but that project didn't pan out just due to the deprecation of Unet. Anyways, I uploaded this poll to my friends, and the winning poll was an RPG, and at the time I knew I didn't want to make an RPG. The amount of effort I needed to do, or provide into this type of project was just too much, and I couldn't do it just due to school. But around December 22nd, after I was on break, I decided to start on this RPG. I gave in and I started development. I figured out this really simple idea and I really enjoyed this idea. It was more of a sandbox RPG game in which you are a mercenary taking back goblin camps, something like Shadow of Mordor. And I wanted to make this game for multiple reasons. It was going to be a small project that was only going to last about a month or two. It was going to be for my friends to play test and have fun with, and yeah, it was just going to be something small. So at the end of January, I actually uploaded my very first build of the project, and it was relatively received well. I had a Discord around early January up to gain traction for the game. I wanted a community around this Goblins project, and when I released this build, I got a bunch of critiques for it, and I got a lot of positive responses, and it really motivated me to continue working. So I decided to work on a better map, and in the end of February, I released my second dev build. This released a whole brand new map I started on a brand new map, and it was just a simple starting area with a goblin camp for them to play test, and I even got more play testers in, and many more people enjoyed it back at that time, and it was just a really big success in my opinion. As the project continued, around March though, I started to have doubts about the project. Everyone said the combat did not feel good and it was just not worth it, or I mean, it wasn't very interesting to keep playing because it was just spam left click and drink potions, and that was just not what I wanted. One of the biggest people there to help motivate me and help give critiques and criticism back was Capt Konrad. I've known this person for a very long time, and when he offered to help be a mentor of sorts for my project, I instantly accepted. I've always wanted to work in a team, but I never had anyone interested. So when he offered, I took it right away, and from there it was kind of a team of some sort. It was mostly me programming, but if I ever ran into bugs I couldn't solve, I asked him, and he was happy to help, honestly. As development continued, me and him worked on it. Well, I worked on it with him helping me for about a month until I realized that this project wasn't going to work, just due to it being a more Dark Souls type approach this time, and I just did not want that. The models were way more complex this time. It was a humanoid looking model with a rig and everything, and it wasn't what I wanted around that time. Around April, I started on this new project, and we were developing it for about a month until the sound effects engineer joined the team. She was a graduate from college in sound effects and sound design, so she was a perfect fit, and she was excited to start working. So she does all the sound effects to this day, and it's just amazing. A little later on, I actually had a friend join us, and he was a very talented musician, and he decided to make all the music for our game. So at this point, we had 4 people developing the game, and it was a blast managing all of this, and it was my first time ever doing this stuff, and especially balancing this with school, it was an interesting combination. Anyways, in the summer of 2019, we actually got 3 more people on board with the project of this game. At first, it was actually an animator early into the summer of the project. He was new at animating, but he was very, very enthusiastic about learning. So as the summer continued, he became one of the best animators I've known, and he just creates beautiful animations for the, and kind of is exactly what we were looking for in the project. Later on, very shortly after the animator or modeler joined, he was a longtime friend of mine, but I knew that I couldn't create the models in which I wanted for this game, except for the character models. I was pretty decent at character design, but I wasn't very good at environmental, and I knew a friend that worked on a couple of my projects before that I never really released or finished, but I knew that he was a very talented 3D modeler, and his name is Felix, and he joined. And we also had a programmer that joined, but he left due to his job being too busy. But the animator, I would really highly recommend you guys check out his Twitter page at Pancreas5. He deserves a ton of love. He makes all the animations from the enemies to the player to everything. He is just very, very talented, and he puts in so much work for this project when he doesn't even have to. But as summer continued, we actually worked on the project pretty well. We got a ton of development done. We got a basic AI combat and movement system, and me and Captain Konrad really heavily, he redid a lot of the movement and the combat for the game just to make it a lot neater and kind of refactor a bunch of my old code. But around towards the end of summer, around August, he got a part-time or a full-time job, or an internship, I believe, or something along those lines, and he couldn't really help me as much anymore, so he became more of a mentor around then, but he still tried to help me. He helped develop the lock-on system, and that was kind of the last thing he really could focus on full-time until he got his job. But anyways, so towards the end of the summer, I worked on the game a little bit less just due to school starting, and I had to focus on that because you know, it just started. I had to really get a good foundation going. But as the school year continued, around I believe it was September, October, the developer, the animator, and I had a conversation. He really enjoyed the instant swapping of weapons, and I did too. It was really interesting to be able to switch weapons on the fly, so we decided to make it a three weapon system where you could switch between 3 different weapons at any moment in time by the scroll wheel. And we developed that, and it was really interesting to play with that. And we also downscaled it so the game could be finished quicker, and progress just continued like that. That was the biggest change in there. I had to redesign a lot of the game around that one simple change. But as development continued, I think it was also around October, development slowed down and it was basically to a halt. But the animator, again, coming in, saving the project, talked to me about how he really wanted to get a public build out, and he didn't want this project to die because he put a ton of work into it, and I agreed. I wanted this project to succeed. I was just really busy, so I decided to make a schedule, and I decided to stream around November. I decided to start streaming and developing this game every single day, extremely, like, wake up early and just develop and develop and develop every single day, at least do a little bit every single day, so then the project could go forward. So early in December, we actually had our very first public build since March. It was really crazy to believe that we didn't have a whole build since March, and it honestly didn't feel like that long of a time, but it was about like 9 months without a public builder, so I'm not exactly sure. I was just making a number up there, but it was a very, very long time, and once we released that build, a ton of people actually loved it. A lot of people supported it, and they just really enjoyed the progress of the game. And we have a good community on Instagram and Twitter and Discord now that all support the game and want to see the game succeed. So if you're interested in seeing this game progress and become better, please follow this YouTube channel. Go hit the like button on the Instagram page, follow the Twitch page, and go follow the Twitter page. There's a lot of little pages you guys gotta go follow, but if you want to see the development of this game, there's also going to be a Discord link in the description which you can join. All the links to all the developers and all the social media pages will be in the description. And goodbye, guys.